Hi, scrappy friends. I have a really fun layout for you today. I am doing this layout for the 'Tis the Season series that Audrey Yeager is doing this winter, and this is the layout that I'm doing. So be sure to look in the info box below because you can find out more information on how you can watch all the other videos that have already been posted. We are on day number 4 today, so let's get going. I am trying to decide between these two photos because I wanted to put them both on this layout, but they're just not gonna, I don't know. I just couldn't make them work, and I sat here for a while, so you're actually seeing me really contemplate and try to figure out how I was going to fit those two on there. So I decided to move on because sometimes if I can't figure something out, I got to move on. So because I already did the stitching, so I will apologize and just let you know that I did this stitching the night before I did the spread because that stitching took quite a long time. I would say it's probably one of the longer stitching that I have done because I did the houses with the trees, and then I also did the word gingerbread. So I would say it probably took me a good 4 hours to complete all together, just the stitching alone. So I did that separately, and I chatted with my friend for part of the time. I watched some TV while I did it. So yeah. And that's just how it is sometimes. Sometimes when you do this kind of work, it's a labor of love. It takes a while. So, you just decide how you want to do it if you're going to do stitching. I used a Paige Evans cut file that I traced with the sketch pen feature in the silhouette, and then I just made my holes that way. And then I went in and I did add, because if you look at that first gingerbread, or the first tree in that line, it's like looks really weird because the way the cut file is that the house is connected to the trees, but it just looked really weird when I did the first one, and I didn't go back and fix it because I just did the tree and I was like, this looks really weird and awkward, and I didn't know exactly how I could fix it without it looking really weird and having to pull it up. I really didn't want to have to pull it up, so I just added extra holes to the other trees and just left it at that. It'll just have to be what it is. It's okay if it's just one little mistake. So I'm going to work on a little bit of layering. At this point, I still really have no idea what I'm doing, and this is how it is sometimes. Sometimes the way you think a layout is gonna go, it just doesn't go that way, because I had thought I was gonna do the 2 pictures, and that picture is not a true 4x6. I printed it down a little bit smaller because I was thinking that maybe if I made it a little bit smaller, I could fit the 2 on my layout nicely. And I think it's just, in general, I have a really hard time with just 2 photos, especially when they're really close to that 4x6 size. I don't know what size it is. Because the way that my printer works is if I print from a certain area, it only lets me control the percentage of how big that photo takes up in a 4x6 space. So, and the size that the photo is. And these photos are from my DSLR. So I did go in and edit them in, Photoshop. So I lightened it up a lot. And it actually was a really hard photo to do because it's in a street. So this is outside of the bakery. And so you're seeing through, the shop glass but you can see the reflection of the storefronts on the other side, and like people walking through, and the people on the inside you could see a little bit. So I had to play around quite a bit with different features because I've not done a whole lot of window. And it was a gray day, which is not uncommon here in Washington. So it was interesting to get that balance just right. But I think I did a pretty good job. And I really like how you see my son's head just like peeking over at the gingerbreads, and they were so pretty. All the store owners, or all the store workers, created their own little gingerbread, and so they had them displayed with all the other yummy goodies. So this was a store in a town that is in Washington. It's out on the outer area. And so the bakery is called Slew's Bakery. I'm blanking on the name of the town now. But it's the whole town is a like Viking town, so like Little Norway. And so it's really fun because you get to go and you like all the buildings and a lot of the houses just in the whole town are like transformed into this whole other area, it looks a lot dated as far as like it brings you back in time when the people had just come and were settling in that area, and they all were coming together because they needed a community of people who said their own language, and people who lived a certain way and believed what they believed. And so they built this community, and they just kept all these traditions and all these things. And so it's just really fun to get that European feel. Something that we, as my family, is not as used to seeing. We were definitely used to being in other places where we've seen a lot of other culture. So it was just really fun. And it was really fun because just even as a family, like, background, we're more Scandinavian than we are anything else. So, well, and that kind of thing. So definitely it was really fun. It was so much fun. But the kids' faces when they seen all these baked goods in this bakery, because it's famous for their cinnamon buns that are like huge. They're like the size of Sam's head. But so I really wanted to, I haven't scrapped these photos of us actually in the town. I've done some stuff outside of the town, like near the waterway, which is gorgeous. That in itself was something, but I really liked this idea for bringing in the holiday season for my season scrapping, because I still haven't really done a whole lot of scrapbooking as far as for Christmassy and holiday things. So I pulled out the Fa La La collection, and then I also pulled out some stuff from my Clique kits for the holiday Clique kits, which is a lot of sweater weather. Oh my gosh, that sounds like really weird when I say it. But anyway, so right now you see me kind of starting to put some layers down. And I'm thinking some circles. I really am liking these colors. And so when I did my stitching, I picked colors that were in that plaid, that teal plaid. Oh my gosh. Oh, I want to like have tons of sheets of that and use it for everything. And then I want clothes in it, and I want a bedspread in it, and I want pillows, and I want everything in that color. And even the pink with on the other side, it's just amazing. So as you've seen, I layered some stuff underneath there. And so now I'm trying to figure out how to get this to work with these circles. But the problem is the sweater weather stuff was more white. And so it was like the teal and the pink were working fine, but it was when I was starting to add the other papers that had more of a cream color based, I started having a problem. So I decided to cut this other side to mimic the top part, and I didn't have that pattern anyway anywhere else. So that other plaid, that black and white checkered plaid, so I added that to the circle. So I just cut out a circle the same size, and I did ink the edges just a smidge, just because it helps tighten things that aren't the same collection. Now, I don't do this very often. You could do it with even like stitching or something could help tie that in, you know. But especially when you're mixing different collections for the holidays, there's different elements of different collections that will work and some that don't. So this is one of those things where I just had to play around until I got the look that I was really wanting. And so it took a little bit longer because I had to switch out some pieces. And as you see, I switched out that top piece too, because I just wasn't, as much as I loved that red, I didn't feel like there was enough red in the spread really for it to work. And I mean, and I know I brought in that sticker house from the sweater weather collection and stuff. And I did add some of my own washi tape. I am going to pull up the washi tape underneath where that candy is, because it just, I don't know, it wasn't working for me. And also, you probably can't really see, but I did put down some white Ellie Studio letters that say kid in a, so it's supposed to say kid in a gingerbread store, just to be that play of like a kid in a candy store. I thought that would be nice and fun. The only thing is you couldn't see it, which, I mean, in real life you could see it a little bit, but because it was the white on white, it really was hard. So after the layout was all done and I was done taping, I decided to outline it in black. So you'll see it in the close-ups that I outline it black, and then I go back over with gold, and that'll help tie in some of the gold that's in the chipboard pieces and in that candy piece, because there really wasn't a whole lot of other gold on the spread. So I'm just cutting out some extra pieces, which I'm sorry you can't see that, but I'm cutting out a tree from that paper and some houses, 2 trees and a house. And I thought that, hey, this will work really nicely. That paper has a lot of those elements in it, and why not cut them out and layer them? They make for really fun layers. So I wish I had some pop adhesive, but I didn't have any, because I think that some of those would look really good up at the top. So I left open part of that circle that had the other tree. And you can't really see the circle too in the layout right now. It's kind of hard to see it, but when you look at it in real life, you can see the circle a little bit, but it does kind of blend in, and I wanted it to. I didn't want it to be like really crazy, right? So I had a hard time with that piece, and I actually wanted to add more of the candy canes, because I was like, when else am I going to use? I mean, I'll find a use for them because I can put them in my December daily or whatever, but I just thought it would have been fun to work, and so I'm going to use some of these enamel shapes because they're really nice and fun. But I did want to try to just keep with, like, I didn't add too much of the blue. Even though Sam had a blue jacket, I was trying to just keep with some of these, the main colors that I started off with, the pink, the teal, and stuff. So, and then I finished off with some of these color cast stars, and I just picked a gold, a red, a white, and a green, and they worked perfectly. The green is a little bit more green than some of the other stuff, but you can't tell from where it is. It's not a big deal. And so I really love how this turned out. It's so much fun, and even though it was a little difficult, and took quite a long time to make because of all the stitching. It was well worth it. So I hope you guys are excited about scrapping your holiday memories. And don't forget to come back tomorrow and check out around and see the next person who is doing day 5. So all you have to do is just put in 'tis the season day 5, and you should be able to find the video, but I'll have some links below so that you can find Audrey's channel, and I know she's sharing lots of stuff, and so I can't wait to see you guys later for another video, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. Bye!